Hey YouTube, it's your girl Crystal, and this is Fashion, Beauty, and Wine. Hey YouTube, thank you so much for joining me today. I am super excited for this video because I am doing my first makeup tutorial. Yes. And after so much work, so many practice sessions and trying to film myself on camera, I feel like I'm finally able to show you all how I get this face that I get. So I'm super excited. Now, I've kind of cheated a little bit. I'm just going to show you how to do a basic contour for beginners. And then the eyes you'll see are already done. Now I'm going to be using the Silicone Beauty Blender for the first time, and I'm gonna try to see if it works or not. But before I forget, let me just grab this wine and talk a little bit about this. Today I'm drinking a Sancerre. It is a rosé Sancerre. It's by the company or the producer Crochet. I'm drinking this because rosés are really great for spring and summer. And since I'm in my spring mode, I felt like I wanted to drink a rosé. I wanted to talk to you all about the rosé. So this rosé is absolutely delicious. It's everything that I asked for in Sancerre. It's clean, it's crisp. You're gonna get big apple flavors but no pinch. This is absolutely delicious. Dropping wine on the floor. Anyway, gosh, I'll leave some information about this wine below in the description box. As always, do not forget to subscribe. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. All you have to do is type in Fashion, Beauty, and Wine. Those keywords put all together will literally bring my page up. So show me some love, subscribe, enjoy this video. So since my eyes are already done, I am going to start off by prepping my face with the Farsali 24 karat gold elixir oil. What I usually like to do is put 3 dots on my face, 1 on the forehead and 2 on the cheeks because those are where my driest spots are on my face. I usually just dab those in or either rub them in and really try to get them in my skin. Next, I'm going to use the YSL Touche Clay Primer and put that over my face. But before I do that, let me actually use my Pore Fessional Pore Cream by Benefits. Put that in my pore area. And then I will use the rest of the Yves Saint Laurent across my face to kind of fill in the rest of the areas. Now, during this step, you don't want to forget to prime your face because the primer, what it does is fills in your pores and basically makes your skin even if you have acne or deep pores like I do. Now I'll be applying my Dior Sugar Lip Scrub, which I will keep on throughout the video, but I will remove it before I put on my lipstick. That way my lips stay hydrated throughout the day. And lastly, I'll be using the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray, which is usually used after your makeup is finished to set it, but because I want to cut down some of my shine, I use it at the end of my face prep. Now that the face prep is finished, I will begin to apply my foundation. I'm using the Makeup Forever HD foundation, which is great for the camera and flashbacks. I will apply a small amount to the back of my hand, use the silicone sponge to dab each area of my skin with foundation and pat that in. Now, something that I realized with the silicone sponge is you really don't have to use so much product to achieve your desired look. You actually only need half the amount of the product, which is why I'm struggling to get the foundation set. But you really want to use the silicone sponge in the same way that you use your beauty blender by patting in the makeup and occasionally using circular motions around the pore area to fill those pores. What the hell? It's taking too damn long. I'm going back to using my beauty blender. Just make sure that when you use your beauty blender, you spray it with water. That way it's easier to spread and set your product. Now I'll be using my cream color correcting stick by Cover FX to cover any dark spots found on my face. Now I'll be using the Tarte concealer, 2 shades lighter than my skin, to contour underneath my eyes, my nose, chin, and forehead. I'll continue to use my beauty blender to blend all of the concealer with the foundation while blurring any harsh lines. I usually have a couple of blenders available to blend the different colors, but because I don't, I'm using only one blender, just different size. Now I'll be using 2 Sephora concealers around my forehead, chin, nose, and the hollow of my cheeks. The first concealer you'll see me using is 3 shades darker. I'll also be using that second dark concealer, which is only 2 shades darker, to contour the outer areas of my nose. Now the reason I use 2 different dark shade concealers on this step is because around the nose area, you don't need so much concealer. And usually the darker the concealer, the harder it is to blend and get a buff look around the nose rather than sharp lines. Using a darkened concealer creates a shadow and gives the illusion that certain areas around the face are smaller than they seem. I'll be using my angle contour brush to buff out the concealer, which, by the way, can be purchased at www.crystalbeebrushes.com. Now the reason why I like to use this tool rather than the beauty blender is because I have more control over where the product goes and I can spread the product a little further. This brush does wonders. Now I'm going to use my Mercier Settings Translucent Powder in any area around my face that I want to highlight. Generally, those will be the same areas that you apply your light concealer to. I apply mine with the Beauty Blender, i.e. the same one I've been using. Ugh. I know, just go with it. Just make sure that it's wet and pat the powder on your face, making sure it's evenly placed on the skin. I also like to apply less powder than normal because I find that it's harder to dust it off when you're buffing it out. If you want to avoid an ashy face, keep the powder at a minimum. Now let it sit for about 1 to 2 minutes, then buff. Now I'll be buffing off the setting powder. I'll be using my Nars foundation powder to lightly go over the setting powder. This will add some color and any place that did not receive any setting powder. This step is done to absorb oil and set the foundation. If you're unsure what setting means, that just means locking the makeup in place. As you can see, I put too much setting powder on, so now I'll use my concealer oval brush, a denser, softer brush, to help buff out some of the powder. If this ever happens, you know, the setting powder not coming off, just use any large, soft, dense brush to remove the product. Just make sure that when you're doing this, you're using a circular motion to get that airbrush look. Since I've added powder all over my makeup, you now have to recontour certain areas to achieve the perfect contoured look. I'll be using a Sephora eyeshadow to recontour around the face and cheek area and set it. Now I prefer to use an eyeshadow over a contoured powder because contoured powders very rarely match my skin tone. With an eyeshadow, I find that you can get that perfect color, and usually it's more pigmented than the typical contour powder. Now, the more pigmented a powder is, the quicker your makeup applying time speeds up. And if you know me, you know that I like anything that saves me time and gives me a beautiful finish. Now I'll be using the Nars blush right in the center of my cheekbones. I'm now applying the Yves Saint Laurent highlighting powder to the center and tip of my nose. This will give my nose a slimming look. I'll also be applying it to the top of my cheekbones and to the top of my lip. This is known as strobing. So finally, I'll be adding my lipstick. Make sure that you rub off any of the sugar lip scrub before you apply the lipstick though. Now, I'll be using two matte finish liquid lipsticks from Sephora in a dark pink for around the lips and a lighter nude pink for the inner area of the lips. This technique is known as the ombre technique. All it is lining your lips with the darker color and the inner lips with the lighter color to give the illusion that your lips are fuller and more plump. Now, I don't use any liners. I literally go at it freestyle, so I'm just hoping for the best right now. Lastly, now that I'm finished applying my makeup, I'm going to go over my skin with the Evian setting spray. This will hydrate my skin and set it. Okay everyone, what did you all think about that video? Did I do okay? Let me know, because like I said, it was my first time and honestly I couldn't really see what I was doing, but from what I see, I think it's okay. It's a good start. It's a good first start. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe right below. You know the deal. Do it. If you haven't done it, show me some love. Check me out on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter if you haven't already do that. And as always, peace, love, fashion, beauty, and wine. Bye-bye.